Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. I don't know why I didn't wave on this day, but here we are. I hope you are all doing well. It is time to use a silicone inlays. So if you watched my last video, we made a huge batch of silicone inlays using silicone molds and the Let's Resin silicone rubber, and they came out a dream. These leaves are beautiful. Even the teeny tiny little bitty baby one that just sits on my nail, like it's so tiny. This is the first video where we're using those inlays, and we're going to be using all of these leaves, and we're going to be using the 9 pendant silicone mold from Moulds and Shapes. Now, Moulds and Shapes details are all down below alongside your 10% discount. I love this mold. It is the most versatile mold and you can pretty much do anything with it. I figured they would make gorgeous, chunky, hunky autumnal keyrings. And that is what we're going for. You can see me here just giving it a bit of a clean using some packing tape, because honestly, as clean as the mold is, it does attract. It attracts. I have mixed my resin. Now the weather has changed here and it's got very, very cold the last few days. So ways around that really with your epoxy resin. If you're in a country where it suddenly gets cold, then you can put your resin part A, put the bottle into a bucket of really warm water for 10 minutes just to, thin it out, get rid of some of the air. Or you can use a heat mat. And once you've mixed your resin, you can set it to one side and let it sit for 5 minutes. But I am also using the Let's Resin Bubble Remover machine. Now, this is not a review video. I'm just letting you know that this machine launches next month, and I'm going to be trying it out for a few weeks before it launches. So I've got the privilege of playing with it for a long time before the machine is actually out. And I just wanted to show you that I've put this resin through the machine today, and oh my goodness me, this is the perfect. Do you remember I used the machine the other day and then I put loads of bubbles back in because I dipped all of my dried flowers in it? Not ideal, but this project, this is when you need crystal clear resin, because every bubble is going to be seen. Even though I'm still using inlays and flowers, which highly likely is going to put bubbles back in. But it came out gorgeous, and here I am just putting some resin into each cavity. Now, I don't want to fill these up. This is a double layer project. So the first layer, really, you only want to go halfway. Or you can go as much as you want. It really depends on what you're doing. They're quite deep as well. So for me, I'm just going around a third to halfway on each individual cavity, and that's pretty much enough for what I need. Now I have completely used up the resin that was in the cup, so I'm just using a pipette to take some resin out and pour it on the back of the silicone inlays. Now the reason I'm doing this is because the silicone inlays are so detailed and intricate and just stunning. I know that if I just throw this in, the irony of me talking about this right now, because wait till you see the results. I didn't mean to throw it in, like actually literally throw it in. I meant to place it down gently, but my hands were covered in silicone and it just flopped. It literally got slapped in there. That's not ideal, guys. Don't be like me. Lower them gently. Lower them gently into the resin. That first leaf honestly just fell out of my hand. But it is a slippery project, because if you're actually coating each inlay in resin, then yes, your gloved hand does become a slip and slide. So yeah, I have sped this section up because it was quite time consuming. So I'm not doing it as fast as you might think I am on screen, but I'm just trying to minimize all of those bubbles. Now, I didn't have enough leaves for every single cavity. I really could have done another 2 or 3 sets of silicone inlays using the same mold, but I didn't. So I figured I would just use what I've got with what I've got, and then in the final 3 cavities, we'll do something a little different. Next up, what you want to do is get a cocktail stick and just gently move your inlays in place. Now, resin moves. So if you are new here, and if you're new to epoxy resin has a mind of its own. When you pour it into any mold, it navigates towards the center. So if you're laying inlays down into epoxy resin, the chances are you'll come back 5-10 minutes later and they will have moved. So just go gently, use a cocktail stick, move them to the positions you want them in, and then just keep an eye on it. like 5-10 minutes should be enough for the resin to have stopped moving. But yeah, just keep your eye on it just in case you come back and they're completely and utterly off center or not where you want them. So that's all, just a little bit of advice if you are new to resin and you did not know this. Now, these flakes were actually not sent to me to use. Well, I guess they were, but I got them from I Love Mixed Media, Denise at I Love Mixed Media here in the UK. I just recently bought some more. Well, you saw the pumpkin molds, the gorgeous redesign by Prima Molds. And Denise sent me this little pack as a little thank you. And it had a glow-in-the-dark ghost in there, which is adorable. And the ghost was surrounded by these flakes. And I thought, oh, my goodness me, I'm going to be able to use those because how autumnal are they? So that is what I am using. I did ask Denise where she got them from, and she has sent me the details. And I just think they look like falling leaves. Without a doubt, they look like autumnal falling leaves. So at this point, I figured I would just put some in. I didn't really have a script on this one. I didn't know from the beginning exactly what I wanted them to look like or where I was really going with it. This was more of a go with the flow, not so much a chuck it in, but a go with the flow and see what I'm thinking at the time. Now, I did take my gloves off for this section. That is not advised. I never would say to anyone, take your gloves off. However, I was struggling with the fine feel of the flowers with the gloves on, and I couldn't quite get a feel for them. Yeah, I couldn't explain it, but it was just easier. I had more control taking my gloves off and ripping the flowers up. I am making sure that I am not coming into contact with epoxy resin at all. I'm simply using my fingers to rip the petals and the leaves off. I'm dropping them into the pendants. And I am not going to do anything else unless I've got my gloves on. So now the gloves are back on, I can use my silicone tool to gently press the flowers down into the resin. Now, there's two ways of doing this. You can dunk your flowers first, dunk your leaves and your flowers first. This will reduce the risk of air, to be honest. But also I wanted them to look more natural. Sometimes when you dunk flowers first, they cluster up. They kind of like all cluster up and stick together, and then you've got to spend more time separating them out once you've dunked them in your resin. But whatever you decide to do is entirely up to you, and every single way is okay. You can pretty much do what you want. Over the top of this, I just decided to just sprinkle some more of this confetti type. Again, not neatly, just literally sprinkle it on there. So we've got 3 now with main, nothing else but leaves. I'm in an R-in. Like, do they need more? Should I have put more? Second up, we've got the inlays with some of the confetti. And then third line down, we've just got natural flowers. Now, this is 24 hours later. 24 hours later, that first layer of epoxy resin has fully cured. And I know at this point what I want to do with the bottom line, and that is the copper. Like this, this has definitely been my favorite autumn color this year, and that is the Resin Pro Copper. It is beautiful, screams harvest, screams autumn, and screams pumpkins. Oh gosh, guys, it's nearly time. It is nearly time. I've already seen the trees around here are starting to turn, and I cannot wait. Like, I cannot wait. But yeah, that's it now. So the bottom layer have just had their epoxy resin, and this is me taking out the inlays from the other ones above. Now, I'll be honest, I then wait 24 hours for the resin to cure, because there's no point in really carrying on with what I'm going to do next, because the bottom line does need to cure for 24 hours before I can even demold them anyway. So all I'm doing here is removing the inlays. The inlays came out beautiful, as they always do. If you are using silicone inlays in epoxy resin, just know as well that they float, so you're okay, you're okay. But yeah, I'm removing all of the inlays. Then I'm going to walk away for 24 hours, let that bottom line fully cure, and then we're going to come back and finish off the top 2 lines because we're not using the epoxy resin with the top 2 lines. Now these big hunky chunky leaves, oh, they're a dream. They're a dream. You know, the bigger the inlay, the easier it is to get out, unless you've totally messed up like I did on my ammonite video where it floated up into the resin. But yeah, when you're doing it this way around, there's such a dream. They come out like such a dream. And yeah, I absolutely love the indentation, the imprint that they leave. It's just exciting. I definitely know now there's like an order of service. Like these are a few of my favorite things. Number 1, chuck it all in. That's my favorite thing to do with resin, is chuck it all in. Number 2 is inlays, making silicone inlays. And number 3 is using those silicone inlays alongside a chuck it all in technique. I know now, after years of resin, that those are my top 3 favorite things to do. Okay, this is 24 hours later. Next day, it is time to finish off these. And I'll be honest, I know I'm going back with the same colours, guys. I'm going in with all of the autumn colours, coppers, greens, coppers and greens. And of course you could go in with browns, oranges, yellows, any colour that makes your heart happy and makes your eyes look like they're looking at the most beautiful thing, then you go with those colours. And of course this could work with anything. It doesn't have to be autumn as well. But this green, oh, this is the forest green chameleon powder from the Tiny Turner, and I got them from Wendy over at Toonfish Crafts. You've seen those on my video recently, but honestly the combination of the copper and the green, it gave me this almost muddy forest autumn vibe. I can't explain it, but mashed together and just, oh, just beautiful. I absolutely love the combination. Again, what combination you use, entirely up to you. Now, I am going to speed this up because you do not need to see this in real time, but just use a soft, fluffy brush, smash them all together until you get the results. This also made me realise that it has been so long since I've done a cling film technique or polyurethane. I prefer polyurethane. It's just so much easier than cling film. I haven't done that technique in so long. And these would have been beautiful with the polyurethane technique on the backs. Messy though, really messy, but hey, we've got all the time in the world to do that. Now for the backs, I did mention I'm not using epoxy resin, which is why I did wait 24 hours before doing the backs of these ones. I'm using the black polyurethane that I just recently bought from Denise over at I Love Mixed Media. It is the MB fiberglass. Now it is so easy to use, and if you're in a rush, I mean I wasn't in a rush, but if you are in a rush, oh, perfect, absolutely perfect. Any kind of poly, it's a fast mixing, fast curing. Now this is real time. I'm not taking any of this footage out just to show you the stirring process. So this is measurable part AB by volume, and you literally mix for 20 to 30 seconds. That's it. Don't think you've got any more time, because you do not have any more time. It will start to go hot in your hands, and you'll know then that you need to act fast. So mix fast, work fast, act fast, pour fast, and then breathe. Basically is what I'm saying. But it is great stuff. And if you just want a simple black background for your piece and you don't want to have to wait 8 to 10, 12, 24 hours for epoxy resin, then this stuff is dreamy. Now, I don't know if anyone is watching. Well, I do. I know that there'll be people watching here from the USA. But I know that some of my friends over in the USA have not been able to find this. So if you are watching from the USA and you have found this, please let us know in the comment section down below. I have asked some of my American friends who use resin, but they've also not found any. But then I'm not sure they've searched. You know what I mean? So yeah, let us know. Okay, 24 hours later. No, it's not. Half an hour later. Literally 30 minutes later. Here we are. beautiful. I absolutely love this. It's delicate. This one here just screams delicate, romantic, just pretty, and all of the things, and quite positively autumnal. This one I love. There is something about this spiky flower. I'm going to zoom in. This spiky flower is the one thing I thought would create the most air bubbles, and it doesn't. It just doesn't. And I don't get it. But I do kind of get it. I suppose we do get it, don't we? Because the air just passes through, whereas the petals trap the air underneath. There you go. See, answered my own question in the space of seconds. But how pretty are these? And that foil just adds that extra bit of sparkle. It looks like autumn berries in some way. I just love these. I've done something very similar like this on my channel before, I know, but love, love, love. These, like, I love. I love. There's degrees of love. There's love, and then there's love, 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 and then there's obsessed. I love these. I think they're so different. The way that I love the green on the leaves. I love the way the foil looks like falling leaves or a pile of crunched up fallen leaves. But do they need more? That's my question. Did it need more in there? I'm always torn between packing it in, like proper packing things in, and keeping it simple and delicate. The flowers, I think, look gorgeous and perfect. Whereas these, I just like, did it need more? I don't know. The colours on this one are everything. It was the copper that went into the leaves, and the background had the copper and the green mixed and mashed together. And I just love it. The foils look like a big pile of autumn leaves that have been raked up off the grass and put into a pile. I wasn't sure on this one at first, but the more I stared at it, the more I thought pile of leaves at the bottom and leaves falling down from the tree above to join their friends at the bottom, and it totally made sense to me then. But yeah, when I first saw it, I was like, oh, not so sure on this one, but actually I'm cool with it now. We're okay. We made peace. But yeah, love the foil at the bottom. Made it look like a total pile of leaves and right up my street. Now, do you remember that big leaf that fell out of my hand and practically got like slam dunked into the resin? Not intentional. I should have really taken it back out of the resin and made sure that there were no air pockets, but I think it got such a shock to the system when it slapped the resin the way it did. And look, we've got two giant bubbles. They do look like beads or pearls or, you know, morning dew. You can what do they say, wax lyrical, get poetic over it. But it's not, I didn't want them there, but it's okay that they are there. This one here, love the colours, dark, moody. I just don't think it's enough. I think, I don't know, I don't dislike it at all. Look at this chameleon. I mean, stunning. You cannot deny that the colours are not beautiful, but I just don't think it's enough for the mould. I think the actual pendant mould itself and the size of the inlay are mismatched, and they could have had more around the edges. Yeah, I don't know. Again, don't dislike them. I just wish I packed more into them. But that is that for the autumnal pendants, and here they are. Like, that middle one left jumps out, doesn't it? Because of the green. I love them. I love them all individually. I think some are definitely more my favourites than others because the results are more yummy, if that makes sense. Like, I do look at them and think, that's delicious. Oh, that's scrumptious. That is scrumdiddly-umptious. And then the others, I'm like, that's okay. That's just okay. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. Which one is your favourite? I think that browny, greeny, blue one with the leaves falling down into the pile of leaves is actually my favourite, and I'm surprised by myself because that was the one when I demolded. I was like, And this one, middle bottom, love. Equally, they're very different, aren't they? Ones are inlays and ones are dried flowers, so it could have technically been two completely separate videos, but let me know. Let me know your thoughts, and thank you so much if you are still here. Thank you if you've been in the live chat with me. I massively appreciate everyone who watches, and if you like the content, give me that thumbs up. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.